Live from Ball State University. News for the campus community and all of Delaware County. This is NewsLink Indiana.
We begin tonight with a story that has been developing since Saturday night. Good evening and welcome to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Cameron Riddle.
And I'm Miranda Gore. A home explosion in Indianapolis left 2 dead and officials with more questions than answers. Tonight they're still investigating the cause of the accident. Nicole Griffin's in the studio with more. Nicole?
Thanks, guys. Today, details have emerged about the cause of the explosion leading towards a possible furnace problem. John Shirley, the owner of the home, said that his daughter sent a text message out last week saying that the furnace had went out. Shirley does not live in the home. His ex-wife and her boyfriend and his daughter live there. Shirley asked his daughter days later if the furnace had been fixed, and she said it had. Investigators have not confirmed that the furnace was the cause for the explosion on Saturday evening in the Richmond Hill neighborhood. 200 people have been forced out of their homes and 2 killed. Jennifer and Dion Longworth lived in the home next to the one that exploded and died that night. Jennifer was a second-grade teacher at Greenwood Southwest Elementary School. The school was on a 2-hour delay this morning and had counselors on hand to assist the children. There has been a curfew in place since Sunday for the Richmond Hill neighborhood. It was lifted during the day today. Homeowners were allowed to be escorted by the police into their homes to get some of their belongings. The curfew will be back in effect tonight starting at 10. There were possible questions whether the explosion was due to a meth lab, a gas leak, and a bomb, but all of those have been ruled out. The weather today has affected the investigation, and sources say that it will take an extensive amount of time to complete the investigation and determine the cause. Damage to the neighborhood is estimated at $3.5 million. Structural engineers determined Sunday that 27 homes are unable for people to return living in. All the victims had homeowners insurance, and some have began getting estimates on rebuilding. We will continue to bring details as the story develops. In the studio, Nicole Griffin, NewsLink Indiana.
29 homes are still uninhabitable following that explosion, according to Indianapolis Deputy Code Enforcement Director Adam Collins. Collins says 6 of those 29 homes will need a lot of work before residents can even retrieve their belongings. He says some of those residents also were allowed to take their insurance adjusters and agents to their property. The Saturday night blast damaged 80 homes and caused an estimated $3.6 million in damage.
2 people were arrested Sunday afternoon here in Muncie in connection with a meth lab. Carla Garataz has the story.
A methamphetamine lab was discovered this past Sunday afternoon when police got an anonymous tip that led them to the house at the 1800 block of West 19th Street. When police arrived, the suspects were in the process of cooking meth. The suspects tried to run out of the back door, where police then found a large glass jar of meth that had been tossed into the neighbor's yard. 2 suspects were arrested, Aaron Pritchett, 29, who was the resident of the house, and Rodney Hammond Jr., 24, who told police he often just stayed at the house. 2 others were found at the scene, the suspect's grandmother, who was on oxygen, and an 18-year-old male. Neither were charged, but the other 2 were charged with a Class B felony for manufacturing meth and a Class D felony for maintaining nuisance. Seth Stanley, a narcotics investigator with the Muncie Police Department, said there had been numerous complaints about fumes from the house because of the meth production. As of this past Sunday, it is the latest increase of the meth-related arrests locally in recent months. And after September, Delaware County moved up from 10th place to 8th in the state for the discoverance of meth labs in 2012. It is predicted by the police that it will be in the top 5 by the end of this year. In the studio, Carly Garataz, NewsLink, Indiana.
Thank you, Carly. Well, every year, alumnus David Letterman holds a distinguished professional lecture and workshop series at Eamon's Auditorium. This year, Letterman is interviewing the one and only Oprah Winfrey. Courtney Delavalli Jones, is live in Muncie with the story. Hey, Courtney.
Cameron, I'm here at Emmons Auditorium box office where these sidewalks weren't so clear on Friday night. Students were camping out with their sleeping bags and tents, waiting to claim their David Letterman and Oprah tickets, leaving no more tickets to be distributed.
It's Oprah.
Hundreds of Ball State students camped out all night before the Emmons box office opened to distribute free tickets for talk show host, alumnus David Letterman and Oprah Winfrey, who will be here on November 26th.
I'm cold, I'm tired, and I really hope I get a ticket at this point.
This year is around 14, 15 hours, camping out, sleeping under the stars, you know.
Students began lining up at 11 a.m. outside Emmons Auditorium the day before, with the line wrapped around the auditorium and the library all the way to McKinley Avenue before tickets were distributed on Saturday morning.
I think she's great, and I think she could be president.
I mean, how many times do you get to say that you've seen Oprah?
Ball State hasn't seen such interest for a campus event before.
On Saturday, I was in close contact with both Emmons box office staff and university police, and from the time students started camping out to the time that the ticket distribution ended, had a few pranks and stuff like that happening here and there, but largely it was very peaceful and a very jovial crowd, and everybody really did a good job of keeping each other company and ensuring that it was a positive event. So everything went just about as smoothly as we could have expected.
Tony Proudfoot says all Emmons and Peru's tickets have been distributed, but is still finding ways that other students, faculty, staff, and other general public can find the telecast live in other locations, live in Muncie. I'm Courtney Dalla Valley Jones, NewsLink, Indiana.
All right, thank you, Courtney. The show begins at 4 p.m. If you are interested about finding out more information about the show, you can go to www.bsu.edu/Letterman. And I refuse to stand out that line this weekend. Shout out to Bree Dobbins for going to get my ticket for me. Way too cold for Cameron.
Oh, well, I went out there. I stood in line for 4 or 5 hours, got my David Letterman ticket, and it wasn't really that bad out there, but as of today, it's pretty cold. Let's go on over to the Weather Center with Sam Abbott.
Actually, it was pretty chilly this morning, and we had some snow. Taking a look at our Indiana map, we can see we had trace amounts of snow through central Indiana all the way up to northeastern Indiana. Now, trace is just a meteorological term. It basically just means a dusting, and that not to get a headache over it. As we look at our radar, we can see a band of precipitation pushing out eastward, and then a dry clearing area moving into Indiana, which should give us clear conditions tonight and be very nice. Currently in Muncie right now, it is 34 degrees with winds coming out of the west at 10 miles an hour, which is going to feel pretty chilly because our wind chill is actually 26 degrees with our pressure increasing. Coming up, we're going to have a quiet week ahead. I'm going to give you a look at our football forecast, and we're going to take a sneak peek at our weekend outlook. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Sam. One organization in Muncie is working to raise money and collect food for your furry friends. Reporter Andy Wright has the story.
The Action for Animals Pet Food Pantry has been providing pet food to Muncie families who can't afford to buy it for their own pets. The first pet food drive in August was a success as 150 families arrived at the grand opening. According to Action for Animals President Teresa Sparks, the need has remained steady the first few months the pantry has been in operation.
Well, actually, I don't think there's been a lot of increase. It's been very, very steady and busy the whole time.
When asked why the need for pet food was so great, Sparks said the economy and the job market have created hardship for locals, and that was the central reason.
For a long time, we've known in our community there's been a huge need for families needing help feeding their pets. I think the biggest reason is that the economy has been bad. Job market's bad. It's hard, a lot of people out of work, and unfortunately, a lot of people will not feed themselves appropriately, so that they have money to feed their pets. So we want to be able to help them so the pets don't end up being surrendered or otherwise no longer in the home.
The pantry receives pet food from manufacturers such as RescueBank.org and Del Monte Foods. The pantry is in need of donations outside of food manufacturers, and anyone in the community can donate to the pantry.
We absolutely need any and all food donations that we can get. Big or small, 1 bag, 500 bags, whatever somebody can do. We are happy to have it, and we will definitely put it to good use.
For NewsLink Indiana, I'm Andy Wright.
The Action for Animals monthly food drive takes place this Thursday from 1 to 5 p.m. Anyone can donate to the pantry by visiting their website, actionforanimalsmuncie.org.
Well, Randy, it's almost that time of year. It's almost the holiday season. After the break, we'll give you some tips for your holiday shopping.
Sounds good. And we saw the rain and snow today. What will the rest of the week's forecast look like? Stay tuned.
Today we are seeing the first pictures of the woman inadvertently caught in a scandal involving General David Petraeus. This was shot outside of Jill Kelly's home in Tampa. It is alleged that Kelly received jealous emails from Paula Broadwell regarding Petraeus. Last Friday, Petraeus resigned from his post at the agency, citing an extramarital affair. A friend of Petraeus says that the ex-CIA head denies having an affair with anyone else but Broadwell.
Lance Armstrong has officially cut ties with the Live Strong Foundation. Today, a Live Strong spokesperson confirmed that the former professional cyclist voluntarily resigned from his board of directors. Armstrong helped create the organization 15 years after nearly dying of testicular cancer. According to the Live Strong, Armstrong stepped down to spare the organization any further negative effects. The move is the latest in a fallout surrounding the allegations Armstrong used performance-enhancing drugs. Armstrong's not admitted to these allegations.
The holiday shopping season is upon us. Americans are expected to ring up billions in gift cards this year, but a new survey shows that you need to be aware of exactly what you're buying. Bankrate looked at 63 gift cards and found that some could cost you more than you expected. Some purchasing fees and others could charge you up to $3 a month if you don't use them within a year. On the plus side, 2/3 of them could be replaced if they were lost or stolen, as long as they were registered gift cards.
And it's beginning to look a lot like Thanksgiving. Over the weekend, new balloons for the Macy's annual Thanksgiving Day Parade were inflated and flown for a test run. The balloons are waiting in New Jersey until it's time to head to New York for the big day. They're going to be joining some old favorites like Bud Lightyear, Spider-Man, Kermit the Frog, and some others on their 2-mile journey through the city.
Believe it or not, that is all next week. And now switching from national to local headlines back here at home, it's time to look and take a look and see what's coming up in tomorrow's edition of the Daily News.
Thanks, guys. The work of Ball State students is being seen all over the world. The DN has a story about the interactive art exhibit in Beijing. Did you know that Indiana has the 11th highest student debt? Find out why in tomorrow's edition. And finally, the library made online searching a little bit easier by combining all resources into a one-stop search engine. All that and more coming up in tomorrow's edition of Ball State Daily News on newsstands across campus or online 24 hours a day at bstudailynews.com.
Thanks, Kirsten. And now looking ahead to the forecast, will you need to break out your mittens and scarves for good? Find out in the NewsLink weather coming up next.
And in sports, one of Ball State's very own football players won a MAC award. We'll tell you who and why next.
This is NewsLink Indiana.
If you looked out your window this morning, you probably saw some white fluffy stuff falling from the sky.
Well, that fluffy stuff would be snow, but the snow we saw today in Muncie was nothing compared to what happened in North Dakota this weekend. A storm dumped about 8 inches of snow in Bismarck. Police say they've responded to dozens of accidents.
Most of those accidents were fender benders, and police are just urging people to stay off the roads for right now. Now let's head on over to Sam Abbott in the Winter Weather Center to see if we have any winter weather coming our way.
Hey, Sam.
Thanks, Cameron. I'm weather forecaster Sam, and we're going to take a quick look at the United States right now. Now we have a giant dome of high pressure in central United States, and you can tell that there's 30-degree temperatures from Indiana all the way over to Nevada. As we zoom in closer to Indiana, we can tell that in southern Indiana, we have temperatures of 36 degrees. Indianapolis is 34. Lafayette is around 32 degrees, and then current conditions in Muncie right now is around 34 degrees. As soon as my graph comes up. Oh yeah, all right. Temperatures are 34 with winds coming out of the west at 10 miles an hour. which is going to feel really chilly because our wind chill is 26 degrees and our pressure is rising. Taking a look at our radar, we can see that we have a high band of precipitation moving out eastward with a dry slot coming in from the south, which will give us our drier conditions tonight. Moving into our almanac, our high temperatures today were around 57 degrees and our lows were around 32. Our average was around 53 and our low average was around 36. Our record high was set in 2010 of 72 degrees and our record low was set in 1996 of 19 degrees. Tonight should be clear and calm as our lows will drop down to 27 and our winds will come out of the southwest at 5 miles an hour and it will remain clear and chilly. And you're going to want to make sure to bundle up in the morning because it's going to stay just as cold in the morning, and you're going to make sure you have some hats on and hoods and gloves because it's going to be 28 degrees around 7, but it should remain clear out throughout the day, so we will get some sunshine and temperatures will remain in the lower 30s. Moving on, we have a band of precipitation moving out to the east, but that's not what we want to look at because the high pressure dome down south is what's going to be influencing our pressure. Moving into Tuesday morning, sorry, our high pressure system will keep our temperature or our skies clear throughout the day. And as it progresses on through 5 p.m. on Tuesday, our skies will remain clear as the high pressure sets in, and then it should push out all of our precipitation throughout the day. Moving into our 7-day forecast, it looks like we'll have plenty of sunshine and temperatures will steadily increase throughout the day. Our football forecast should be, it starts around 8, so it should be pretty cold, so you're going to make sure you want to wear a jacket on Wednesday evening. Our weekend will remain sunny with temperatures in the 50s, and then to start the work week off next week, our temperatures will be in the 50s with some rain showers, so it won't be quite as good. And back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Sam. We'll have the gloves and hats ready for the morning.
Yes, we will.
All right, still to come, the Ball State Cardinals are back on the football field this Wednesday. We'll give you a preview of the game in NewsLink Indiana Sports.
Hey, good evening. Welcome to NewsLink Indiana Sports. I'm Robert Connett. We start today with the news that the MAC American Conference came out with their weekly awards. And for football, one Cardinal was recognized for his part on the defensive side. Earlier today, sophomore defensive end Nick Miles was named Defensive Player of the Week for the MAC West Division after his performance for Ball State in the upset win over Toledo back on November 6th. Now, Miles led the team with 11 tackles and 1 sack as the Cardinal D forced 2 crucial turnovers on downs against the Rockets. Another congratulations to Nick Miles on winning the award. Now, Nick Miles and the rest of the Ball State football team are preparing for a very hyped ball game this Wednesday as Ball State will host Ohio University. Wednesday night is senior night as the Cards will try to black out the Bobcats. The football team will debut their black jerseys for the first time in program history. Both teams come into the matchup with a MAC record of 4-2. Ball State is 7-3 overall, while Ohio is 8-2, but those 2 losses have come in their last 3 games. Similar to Ball State's last opponent, Ohio has a good balance on offense as they're averaging right over 200 yards through the air and on the ground this season. Now, fans, if you're planning on going to the game, you're encouraged to dress in black attire, and the first 2,500 students to enter Schumann Stadium will receive glow sticks. This game will be televised on ESPN. A huge game for Ball State. Be sure to get there early. Kickoff on Wednesday is at 8 p.m. Now, the 2012-2013 Ball State men's basketball season tipped off yesterday as the Cards hosted Grambling State. The Cards only held a 9-point advantage at halftime, but exploded to a 19-5 start to start the second half. And they never looked back as they got the 78-51 victory. 5 different Cardinals finished the game with double digits, with Jesse Berry leading the way with 17. Majak had 11 points and 12 rebounds in his Ball State debut, and senior Zach Fields had a career day with 10 points and 8 rebounds. The Cards finished the game shooting 46% from the floor and 64% from the free throw line. The men's team looks to start the season 2-0 as they will play Wofford in Worthen Arena Friday night at 7 p.m. Staying on the hardwood, Coach Brady Salee and the Ball State women's team will look to get their first win of the season tomorrow as they host in-state rival Butler. Both teams enter the contest with a record of 0-1 on the season. Ball State lost to Evansville 54-45, while the Bulldogs opened their season with a loss at Marquette. Leading the way for Ball State is freshman Natalie Fontaine, who had 14 points in the season opener. Sophomore Shelby Justice had 8 points, junior Brandy Woody had 7, and junior Katie Murphy leads the battle on the boards as she had 9 rebounds. The Cards are trying to get revenge on the Bulldogs as Butler took the game last year 55-43. Tip-off is at Worthen Arena tomorrow night, scheduled for 7 p.m. And guys, finally, we'd like to give a shout out to all the Delaware County High School girls basketball teams that got their season started over the weekend. Yorktown got a huge win over Westell, 89-12. Muncie South lost to Eastern Hancock, 83-32. Delta Lady Eagles lost a tough one to Elwood, 49-27. Pendleton Heights handed the Muncie Central Bearcats a loss, and Daleville got their season underway with a victory, 31-25 over Union City. Muncie Burris and Wapahani get their season started this week. So good luck to all the lady high school basketball players out there in the area. And Wednesday night, big game for Ball State football.
I got my black ready to go.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, thanks, Rob.
All right, one popular band just announced a reunion tour for this year. Find out who next.
And we'll get another check of Sam's forecast before we go. We'll be right back.
Welcome to NewsLink Entertainment. I'm Dea Hernandez. Matchbox 20 recently announced a reunion tour. They're planning their first portion of North American tour, and Fort Wayne is on the list. Be sure to check them out February 12th at Fort Wayne Embassy's Theater. Pre-sale tickets will be available for their Matchbox20.com members starting November 13th through the 15th. General public tickets will go on sale November 16th. Comedian and juggler Mark Neiser will be performing tomorrow night at Emmons Auditorium at 7:30. This one-man show includes comedy, world-class juggling, movement, music, and so much more. Don't forget to pick up your tickets at Emmons Auditorium box office. And one of Broadway's first musical, West Side Story, will be hitting Emmons Auditorium on Thursday night at 7:30. This modern retake of Romeo and Juliet presents conflict between two families from different backgrounds. This hit musical has classic music numbers including Some Things Coming, Tonight, America, I Feel Pretty, and Somewhere. Be sure to pick up your ticket at Emmons box office before Thursday night. That's all for NewsLink Entertainment. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Dea.
Thank you, Dea. And now let's just take a final look at weather, see what that weather is going to be like for the next couple of days.
Well, we're going to have plenty of sunshine, but with the colder temperatures, you're going to want to make sure to bundle up for the football game and throughout any night or morning activities.
All right, football game Wednesday. Move your cars tomorrow. Hats on in the morning. Take it away, Randy.
Well, that's all for